Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you my current favorite Lacrimosa Discord team. This includes Daffodil, Sakiri, and Haniel. I will show you the basic rotation here, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it later. So first, I like to come in and kind of prime Daffodil the same way I do with the other team. And then we'll swap to Lacrimosa and get her to a state where we can use her skill. I'm not really kind of focusing this first fight because I was just kind of, this was actually shortly after I leveled her up. I was kind of just exploring her kit and see what she's capable of. But we go to Lacrimosa, we'll swap to you should swap to Sakiri in order to secure a Scorch. And then once you have Scorch, in my opinion, the next move should be to swap back to Lacrimosa and then use her copy skill. And you should be able to, within the initial Scorch window, you should be able to swap to Haniel to get the Nova and Discord. I think I missed it in this case, but we'll swap back to Lacrimosa. It at least gives us a good little bit of damage, and then we come in with Daffodil. She's got her ult. We can use the Black Tome. Her skill is charged. Then we come in with Sakiri. Come back. Her skill is charged again. Saving Daffodil's charge her skill, giving it echoes, that's a pretty good utility. If you just kind of practice not touching either that or the tome for 2 rotations before she comes in, and really just kind of only use her ult until it's time for her to really cause a major reaction, maybe a break. I think that's the best time to do that. You can see the first run, it was a minute 41 or a minute 42 or something like that. I wasn't super focused, and so I wasn't satisfied. So I decided to give it another shot. This second run, you'll see it goes a bit better. So I focused more on getting Lacrimosa and Daffodil up to the punch first. We came in with Sakiri, dropped Sakiri's ult, because we want a bunch of extra damage right now. Then I came back in with Daffodil and immediately spammed to Haniel to get the Discord. It's pretty slick. You'll see me quick swapping Haniel and Lacrimosa a lot. I think Haniel and Lacrimosa, that's a dynamic duo right there. Every now and again I have to go back and swap back to Sakiri. But as you can see, you can get the Nova and Scorch in Discord very reliably, and you're getting a bunch of DOT here. I'm super bad at dodging those, by the way. I'm terrible at dodging those. But once she gets broken, then you can use Daffodil. Daffodil and Haniel really will finish the job. Having Sakiri come in with Lacrimosa to swap and trigger another Scorch. And then just kind of doing a little bit of a chase down. I like to use Daffodil with the chase down just because she has that really slick dodge cancel. But yeah, that second run, as you can see, was a lot better. You get a minute and a half. And I focused a little bit more on the rotation, but I still didn't believe that was the best that I could do. Because I wasn't particularly focused on the usage of the abilities as much. And so I kind of wanted to, I kind of wanted to shop it a little bit. So we workshop it and we figure out, like what's probably the best way to get the rotation down. Personally, like I said, I like to start with Daffodil and prime her a bit so that she's ready. And then swap to Lacrimosa, copy skill and swap to Sakiri, and immediately swap back for Scorch. Or you can just put pause on, the enemy until you nat trigger Scorch if you want. It's kind of up to you. It really depends on how you want the speed of the rotation to go. As you can see, I kind of jumped right into it, because I was kind of trying to set off as many things as possible. But look at the damage numbers. And mind you, this is only a level 60 team. And I don't have all the best, like, modules and cartridges, but look at the health bar just getting eaten right now. If you do the rotation correctly and you save Haniel towards the back end, you get that Discord. You can bring Sakiri back in. The DOT gets like doubled, sometimes even close to tripled. It's pretty crazy. And then if you were saving up Daffodil's skill, like I told you, then once you get the break and she's on the end, you basically just use her to assassinate. And as you can see here, we cleared that in under a minute. And so that is kind of, that is why I really like this team. So you've got the kind of, blue and black outfit, raven-haired one, with an attitude problem and swords. You have the copycat ninja. You have the loudmouth, who has an orange outfit and has a partner that's basically a demon. And then you have the pink-haired girl who is secretly much stronger than you would think she is. That's kind of your rotation there. I like to use Daffodil on just before Haniel, or right after Lacrimosa swaps to Haniel to trigger the Discord. Then I'll come back in with Daffodil, and if she's close enough to trigger a reaction again, you can then swap back to Haniel and get a second Nova and get a second Discord, as long as that initial Scorch is still going. And if you literally just triggered the first Discord, you probably still have time to trigger a successive one. It is similar to the way that I was able to pull it off with Fadia on the Daffodil team. But yeah, this team, I like it a lot more. It's more respectful of Daffodil's role as a sub DPS. And Lacrimosa gets a lot more field time instead of using Baitang. Using Sakiri in combination with Haniel gives you ridiculous attack buffs and DOT buffs, as you saw over time. Everything that you can cause in this team is just like Daffodil's team. All four of these characters have a cycle reaction that is specific to all three of the damage cycles that you're going to be causing. So you have Sakiri's enhancement to your DOT from Scorch. You have Lacrimosa's specialty, which is DOT, your nightmare stacks. And if you drop back in with her right after you use Sakiri and Sakiri's ult, then you end up with her dropping the DOT Nightmare stacks as soon as you got Sakiri's ult. You use her special, or excuse me, her ult, and then after that, use her skill and insta swap back and forth with Haniel to get the Nova and subsequently the Discord. Use everything that Haniel has to offer, and maybe even use Haniel to swing a couple times. But if you there's multiple reasons why you want to have Haniel towards the back end of the cycle. You want Haniel to charge up the bonuses that she's gonna get to her like attack and such. And when you use Hootie, she's basically gonna donate that to the team. And so if you do, like I said, Daffodil beforehand and trigger that Nova reaction, then you end up with a really interesting state where Daffodil can then come back in with a Phantom Step and cause some pretty massive damage on top of the Discord. And that's when you are basically priming her back again to restart the cycle and go back to Lacrimosa, and it loops again. So that is basically how it works. I like to say that Daffodil is the driver of the team. She just gets the engine started. But the main carry here is going to be Lacrimosa. And the support of Haniel and Sakiri are going to be extremely useful to you. I would imagine that you'll be able to use this in other content. I always use the Arachne to showcase because it's just the place that I go at level, where the difficulty is consistent, the enemy is consistent, etc., etc. So, but I'd imagine if you used it elsewhere that had like mob enemies, Sakiri, as we've discussed in other videos, is good for helping with grouping up your mobs, so that you can just kind of get to eliminating them all at the same time. Daffodil's skills are also okay for mobs, actually. You just have to kind of know what you're doing. But her ult is definitely a mob killer sometimes. She's good at actually clearing mobs. Especially if it's not like later stage end game content, like stuff that you're gonna run into like on the map. If Daffodil has her ult ready, typically you can use her skill and use her ult and then you're done. So that's always fun. But yeah, that is, like I said, that's Team 7. That is Team 7 for you. Lacrimosa Discord team. I'm not gonna lie, I like it a lot. That's actually I'm pretty sure that's my fastest clear time to date at the Arachne. But I mean, I have two powerful chaos units and two buffing units that give me that I'm able to reliably trigger Discord off of. So and with all the mechanics that we had from Daffodil's team, we can translate those here. If you watch my day 1.1 kind of launch live look and like team rotation there, I used Baisang instead of Sakiri, and it was okay. But Baisang kind of was he was kind of not letting Lacrimosa get the field time that she really needed. And as well, I didn't quite have enough hands-on time with Lacrimosa to really understand how to get her to fluidly operate within the team as an overall kit. But now that I understand kind of how it works, it's very nice, very satisfying. 10 out of 10. I will note that you will need at least one awakening of Lacrimosa, and at least one awakening of Daffodil. You don't need any awakenings of Sakiri, but I do have all the awakenings of Haniel. If you want to build the team the way that I have it set up now, you will need everyone's signature arc. Note that Haniel is an A rank with a signature arc. So it will be part of your S rank arc collection. It's called Blow Up the Crowd. I believe I showed it a couple times. But yes, this is your team. That is your rotation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, all that jazz. I'm not a YouTuber. Peace.